Yamuna Tira Vanata Kapedana Bala Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Ayadana Madhava Sundavihari Ayadana Madhava Sundavihari Vedana Balaba Girivardhari Vedana Balaba Girivardhari Sodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Sodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Amunatira Vanachari Amunatira Vanachari Ayala Madhava Sundavihari Ayala Madhava Sundavihari Madhava Sundavihari Jayom Shripad Paramahamsa Parvajakatarya Astatar Shri Śrimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayom Shripad Paramahamsa Parvajakatarya Astatar Shri Śrimad His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Namacharya Shaharidas Thakur Ki Ramsika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Ki Maya Purdhan Ki Bhagnath Puridhan Ki Gangamaya Ki Yamunamaya Tulasi Devi Ki Devi Ki Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Gaura All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. Glories to Shishi, Guru, and Namo Vishnu. Jai Saraswati. Do we have the verse on our devices? Everyone has a device? Very good. The verse we chant. Yeah, very good. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it's 4:22. Canto 4 is called the creation of the fourth quarter. Chapter chapter 4 is Sati quits her body, and we're in text number 22 today. Go through the words. Na etena dehena hare krita agasaha deha udbhavena alam alam ujanmana vrida mama abut ujana prasangataha janma dik yaha mahatam avadyakrit tena dehena hare kritagaso te hod bhavenalam alam ujan mana vidamamadut ujana prasangatas adammadikyo matam abhadyakrit atena dehena hare kritagaso Behod Bhavenalam Alam Janmana Vidamamadbhut Kujana Prasangatas Ajanma Digyo Matam Abhadyakrit Ena Dehena Hare Kritagaso Behod Bhavenalam Behod Bhavenalam Alam Kujanmana Vidamadva Bhut Kujana Prasangatas Ajanma Digyo Matam Abhadyakrit Ena Dehena Hare Kritagaso Behod Bhavenalam Alam Vidamamadbhut Ujana Prasangatas Ajanma Digyo Matam Abhadyakrit Ena Dehena Kritagaso Behod Bhavenalam Alam Dhammamadbhut kujana prasangatas. Sadanajigyo matam amajya. What else? Dehena hare kritagaso. Behold babenalam alam kujanana. Dhammamadbhut kujana prasangatas. Sadanajigyo matam amajya. Ladies? Oh, you have it on your phone? You don't understand it? You can try it if you want. There's no loss. Dehena hare kritagaso. Behod babenalam alam kujanana. Dhammadbhut kujana prasangatas. Dhammadigyo matam amadikrit. We'll go through the synonyms. Did you want to chant it? Do you want to chant it? It's what, 4-4-22. 4-4-22. Dehena dehena hare kritagaso. Behod babenalam alam kujanana. Vidamamadbhut kujana prasangatas. Janmadigyo matam amadikrit. Synonyms. Na, not. Etena, by this. Dehena, by the body. Hare, the Lord Shiva. Incidentally, this word Hare, we use it in the Hare Krishna mantra as an address to Hara, Radharani. Sometimes Hare is also used to address Krishna, who is Hari, and also Hare can be used to address Lord Shiva, who is Hara. So Hare can address either of those three great personalities, and the context is how you know which is which. Krita agasa, having committed offenses. Deha udbhavena, produced from your body. Alam alam, enough enough. Pujanmana, with a contemptible birth. Vrida, shame. Mama, my. Adbhut was Pujana Prasangata, from a relationship with a bad person. Hat Janma, that birth. Dik, shameful. Yaha, who, Mahatam, of the great personalities. Avadyakrit, an offender. Translation. So this is Sati speaking to her father, Daksha. You are an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, and unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I am very much ashamed of our bodily relationship, and I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender at the lotus feet of the great personality, the greatest personality. So please repeat. You are an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, and unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I'm very much ashamed of our bodily relationship, and I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender at the lotus feet of the greatest personality. Fourth, by His divine grace, is Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrimad. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all devotees of Lord Krishna. It is stated, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Shambhu, Lord Shiva, is the greatest of all devotees of Lord Krishna. In the previous verses, Sati is described that Lord Shiva is always in a transcendental position because he is situated in pure Vasudeva. Vasudeva is that state from which Krishna, Vasudeva, is born. Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna, and Sati's behavior is exemplary because no one should tolerate blasphemy against Lord Vishnu or his devotee. Sati is aggrieved not for her personal association for Lord Shiva, but because her body is related to that of Daksha, who is an offender at Lord Shiva's lotus feet. She feels herself to be condemned because of the body given by her father, Daksha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vedanta Swami Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Apakavyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavanam. So we're continuing this Leela, which is rather extensive, and we're basically hearing more about the glories of Lord Shiva and about how bad Vaishnava Aparad actually is. So I guess I'll start out talking about how bad Vaishnava Aparad actually is, and then finish up by talking about how great Lord Shiva is. It's always nice to end on a high note. So, because Sati is a pure soul, the word Sati means chaste, and she's completely chaste for her beloved husband, Lord Shiva, and completely disgusted that her fathers criticized him, not being aware of his greatness. Basically, Daksha's problem is he visualized Lord Shiva according to his materialistic calculation and not with the eyes of the Shastra, not through the eyes of the authorities. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has mentioned that the position of the Vaishnava can be determined by seeing how much love they have for the holy name and how much compassion they have for the people in general. So, of course, Lord Shiva's Vaishnavism is glorified here by Prabhupada quoting that verse from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Basically, Lord Shiva is 100% of the time worshipping the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu in meditation. Lord Vishnu is transcendental to this material world, and meditation on Lord Vishnu is transcendental to this material world. There's a statement in the Nectar of Devotion. It says that meditation on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu is transcendental to the happiness, distress of this world. One time I was in Mayapur in the winter, and the temple has holes in the wall, and the wind can blow through. I didn't bring my winter coat to Mayapur because I thought it wasn't so cold. So I was like freezing like anything. And I remembered how Prabhupada said in the Nectar of Devotion, meditation on Lord Vishnu is transcendental to the happiness and distress of this world. So I said, okay, I'm just going to look at the deities and I'm going to forget how much I'm suffering. And really is transcendental. And now sometimes people engage me in trying to dance in a circle, but I don't want to break my meditation on Lord Vishnu to do that, because it's such a pleasing experience just to meditate on the beautiful form of the deity. So that's Lord Shiva's whole program, is to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. He's completely entranced to ecstasy doing that. And he's also famous for his compassion. He's Shiva Joy. So they were churning this ocean of milk, and this poison came, and it was like a really deadly poison. And people were wondering, what are we going to do? And Lord Shiva was approached. He's called Mahadeva. He's the best of all the demigods. So they approached him, and he agreed to drink the entire ocean of poison. And in that connection, he quoted this verse, which glorifies compassion toward living entities as a means of giving pleasure to the personality of Godhead. It's 8:744. Tapyanti loka tapena sadava payashojana paramaranana tadi rushasya kilakmana. And Prabhupada quotes it from time to time. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of the people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Everyone in the universe was threatened by this poison, and to relieve them from this suffering, he agreed to drink it. And because he's so transcendently powerful, it just turned his neck blue, but he wasn't otherwise affected by it. And another thing about his compassion is that he's the leader of the entities in the mode of ignorance, the ghosts and the goblins, disembodied spirits. And he dresses in such a way as to attract these sorts of people, and then he engages them in activities for their ultimate benefit. So it's as we know, when we are implicated in dealing with people in the mode of ignorance, it's always challenging, dealing with people who are completely contaminated by the lowest quality of material nature. But Lord Shiva, out of compassion, is willing to take charge of these people and bring them to a higher level. So he's famous for his compassion. And because he's always absorbed in meditation on the lotus feet of Krishna, he's famous for his Vaishnavism. Actually, this recently, Jayadvaita Swami quoted this verse. It says that that one should always remember Lord Vishnu. Smartavya Sachatam Vishnu. Vismartavya Natachit. One should not forget him at any time. Sarve Vidhi Neshejam Sur. All the prescriptions and prohibitions in the revealed scriptures, Hidaya Eva Kinkara, are servants to these two principles. So Lord Shiva in meditation on Lord Vishnu is grasp the essence of Vaishnavism, to fix the mind on Krishna. Twice in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna quotes the verse, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Yaji Namaskar. So the first thing he says is, Manmana, think of me. Even before we become a devotee, Bhava Mad Bhakto, even before we're thinking of Krishna. And this thinking of Krishna purifies our consciousness of all contamination. And that's why in the purport, Prabhupada's glorifying Lord Shiva as being in the state called Vasudeva, in which Vasudeva appears. So there are many verses glorifying the remembrance of the personality of Godhead. There's there's a very famous chapter, Divinity and Divine Service, chapter 2 of the Śrimad Bhāgavatam, 1-15. Yada nuyasitai Gupta karma granta nibandhanam chinnati kovidastasya koya koya katavati. That great sages, they, by remembering the personality of Godhead, they become free from all material contamination, from all karma. Therefore, who will not listen to his message? So Lord Shiva is an exemplary Vaishnava, and to speak bad about him is a great mistake. It's a great aparad, and because instead of seeing his glory as somebody who's actually grasped the essence of all Vedic knowledge, to always remember Krishna. He just saw him, he's my son-in-law, he should offer respect to me. He's not doing that, he's bad. And he saw him because he wasn't dressed the way he thought a proper, son-in-law should be dressed. He didn't have the behavior. He criticized him in so many words. He didn't see he's so great, he's always absorbed in meditation on Vishnu. He's only concerned how to uplift the most degraded people and give them some connection with spirituality. He just saw in terms of some material calculation. So that's the big cause of Vaishnava aparad is to visualize Vaishnavas materially, to judge them based on their birth. In Prabhupada's preaching, he would encounter in India people who criticized the American Vaishnavas as not being real Vaishnavas. Born in America, they weren't proper Hindus. So that's all material calculation. And if you judge a Vaishnava based on their past activities, like before they became initiated or dedicated to Krishna, that's another aparad. And they have some occasional material attachment that still comes up, and you judge them for that. That's Vaishnava aparad. Basically, the idea is that devotional service is so powerful and so pure, even if a devotee has a material taint, that's considered insignificant. Srila Prabhupada used a very beautiful analogy, and that's the analogy of a person in the shower. And this devotional service is so powerfully purifying. We would say, Cheto Darpana Marjana, it cleanses the mind of all impurity. So if somebody's dirty, but they're in the shower, it doesn't make any sense to criticize them for being dirty, right? It's stupid, actually, because in 5 minutes they're going to be out of the shower and they're going to be clean. So this devotional service is so powerful. If anybody's engaged in it, just very quickly, Shipram Bhaviti Dharma, Krishna says, very quickly they become righteous. So if we are criticizing somebody who's fixed in devotional service, that's just as foolish as criticizing somebody who's in the shower for being dirty. Because very quickly, because that's the power of devotional service. And if we are criticizing people for their minor materialistic tendencies, even though they're fixed in devotional service, that means we don't have actual faith in the devotional service, in the fact that the devotional service really is as powerful as it's described to be in the Shastra. And one of the reasons Srila Prabhupada was successful and his contemporaries weren't successful in preaching in the West is he actually had faith that if these malechas and yavanas hear the holy name, if they hear the Bhagavad Gita, if they hear the Śrimad Bhāgavatam, they can be completely purified. It's actually the fact. And there's different verses like Yatahananda Pulinga Bukashaya Bira Shambhaya Vinakasharya Inecha Papaya Dapashaya Seda Suryanji Tasmai Prabhu Vishnu Namaha, which talks about all kinds of different sinful races of people and how they can be purified by taking shelter of the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is the supreme power. So, so although it appears to an externally visualizing person like Daksha that Shiva is inauspicious because of the crematorium ashes and the skulls around his neck, his pure devotional service to Vishnu annihilates anything that could possibly be considered inauspicious. There's another verse in that connection, which chant before the yagyas. It says, whether one is purified or not purified, by remembering the lotus-eyed Lord. So here, Sati is very much upset by her father for his Vaishnava aparad, and she wants to give up the relationship with him. So I was thinking about other cases where that happened. One came to mind in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was originally a big Mayavadi teacher. He was actually, although he was a householder, he was a teacher of Swamis. He was so fixed in the Advaita Vedanta. But by the mercy of his son-in-law, I believe, Gopinath Acharya, what was it? What was the relationship with Gopinath Acharya? Yeah, son-in-law, yeah. So he actually became transformed, and by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became transformed in practically ultimate Vaishnava. And he offered like 100 prayers in glorification of Lord Chaitanya. And at any opportunity, he wanted to serve Lord Chaitanya. So he thought, I'll invite Lord Chaitanya to my house and I'll have an amazing meal, and Lord Chaitanya will be really pleased. But he had another son-in-law named Amoga, who had a very bad habit of being critical, especially of great saintly personalities. So while Lord Chaitanya was eating this amazing feast, Amoga came there, and the sannyasis are supposed to eat very simply, just enough to maintain body and soul together, and sees Lord Chaitanya with this amazing feast. And he says all these nasty things. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gets a stick and chases him away. And he runs faster, so he gets away. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is very, very upset that he has any relationship with this person who can't appreciate the divinity of Lord Chaitanya and says all these nasty things. And this Leela is described. After returning to his home, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya consulted with his wife, the mother of Sati. After personally condemning himself, he began to speak as follows. The man whose blasphemy Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is killed, his sinful action may be atoned. Or if I give up my own life, his sinful action may be atoned. However, neither of these ideas is befitting because both bodies belong to Brahmanas. You're not supposed to kill a Brahmana, even yourself. It's really bad. Instead, I shall never see the face of that blasphemer. I reject him and give up my relationship with him. I shall not even speak his name. Inform my daughter Sati to abandon her relationship with her husband because he has fallen down. When the husband falls down, it's the wife's duty to relinquish the relationship. So you can see, as a pure Vaishnava, he has the same mentality as Sati. He doesn't want to have any any relationship with this guy at all. So I wanted to say some glorification of Lord Shiva. There's a day where they celebrate Lord Shiva. It's called Shiva Ratri. The Srila Prabhupada mentions in the Krishna book, in connection with Nanda Maharaj and Vrindavan, the Vaishnavas don't always celebrate Shiva Ratri, but sometimes they do, including even Nanda Maharaj. One time, he was celebrating Shiva Ratri. We don't usually celebrate Shiva Ratri in our temples, but we have many Indian congregational people who have some sentiment for Shiva and Shiva Ratri. So it was like that in Tallahassee, they wanted to do a Shiva Ratri program at the temple. So we figured, well, we can offer the food to Gaura-Nitai, and then we can offer the remnants to Shiva and glorify how Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. So in our big temples, we have Radha Krishna deities, but in the smaller temples, we don't have enough pujaris, we have Gaura-Nitai deities. And a lot of the Indian people, they're not so familiar with Gaura-Nitai, familiar with Krishna, Radha Krishna. So I thought we should make it clear what the relationship between Lord Shiva is with Lord Chaitanya, and then that will be good for them because they'll appreciate it. So I read this section from the Navadvip Mahatmya, which is a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he is basically recounting Lord Nityananda taking Jiva Goswami on pilgrimage of Navadvip Dham, pointing out all the different holy sites. So this is from that book. One time during Satya Yuga, Lord Shiva began madly dancing while chanting the name of Gauranga. Parvati asked him, "Please tell me, who is Gauranga?" "By seeing your astonishing dance and hearing the name of Gauranga, my heart is melting. All that I have heard in the way of mantra and tantra till now only leads to more entanglement for the living entities. Dear husband, please tell me something of this Gauranga. By worshiping him, will I receive actual life?" Hearing Parvati's words, Shiva meditated on Gauranga and said, "Unto you who are the primordial energy, one portion, Sri Radha, I will tell the crest jewel of all truths. Accepting the spiritual emotions of Sri Radha, Krishna will descend in this Kali Yuga at Mayapur in the womb of Sachi. Lord Gauranga, intoxicated with pastimes of kirtan, will distribute the jewel of prema to everyone without discrimination. Whoever does not drown in that flood of prema is most unfortunate. Oh Devi, just by remembering the Lord's promise that he will come, I pass my life drowning in love of God. Actually, when we chant the Gaur Arati song, the last line, Shiva Shuka Narada Prema Egata Gada, talks about how Lord Shiva is like, experiencing ecstatic symptoms and love of God. So he's describing that. Just by remembering the Lord's promise that he will come, this is in Satya Yuga, he's thinking, just 3 more yugas, Lord Chaitanya. I pass my life drowning in love of God. Being unable to control myself, I've given up my own city of Kashi. Within Mayapur, on the bank of the Ganges, I will live in a hut and worship Ranga. Hearing Shiva's words, beautiful Parvati quickly went to Samanta Dweep. As she constantly meditated on the form of Gauranga and chanted his name, she became immersed in prema. After some time, Gaurachandra appeared with his associates to bestow mercy and poverty. His complexion was like molten gold. He had long arms, wavy hair, and beautiful limbs. He was wearing a long dhoti folded thrice, and from his neck swung a garland of flowers, which is very attractive to behold. And a voice choked with love, Rora Roy said, "Oh, Parvati, why have you come here?" Parvati fell at the lotus feet of the Master of the Universe, and with agitated mind explained her sorrow. "Oh, Prabhu, Jagannath, life of the universe, though you are merciful to all, you have deceived me. O deliverer of the fallen, you have appointed me to bind up all the living entities in the material world who are averse to you. I've come to the material world to do this work and have been cheated of your unlimited prema. People say wherever Krishna is, there's no Maya. And therefore, forced to always remain outside your spiritual realm in the material world. So how will I ever see your pastimes? If you do not offer a way, I am without hope." Saying this, Parvati put Gauranga's foot dust on her Samanta, the part in the hair, in great distress. From that, the name Samanta Dweep came. Gaurachandra was pleased, and he said to Parvati, "O Supreme Goddess, listen carefully to my words. You are my energy. You are not separate or different from me. My energy, my one energy, has 2 forms. Within the spiritual kingdom, my original energy has 1 form, Sri Radha. But for carrying out activities in the material world, she has expanded herself as you. Without you, my Leela could not be accomplished. For in the form of Yoga Maya, you are necessary in my pastimes. In Raja, you are eternally present as Purnamasi, and in Navadvip, you are present as Praudamaya, along with Kshetrapal Shiva, guardian of the Dham. So we see that Shiva and Parvati are very intimate associates. And glorious, play a role in his pastimes. Just as the Shiva guards the Dham of Vrindavan, he also guards the Dham. And he has a very intimate relationship with Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was visiting South India, he ran across Shiva and Parvati disguised as Brahmanas. And it said he had a very confidential discussion with Lord Shiva, and it was so confidential that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami didn't tell us what it was. We don't know. So we should always remember that Lord Shiva is very, very dear to Krishna, very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya, and the Indian congregation were very happy to hear about the relationship that Lord Shiva has with Gauranga, because usually they don't know much about Lord Chaitanya. Hear how much ecstasy Lord Shiva has in the service of the Lord, Parvati has in the service of the Lord, was transformational. Came up to a higher level of appreciation. So there's 8 minutes. Does anybody have any comments about Vaishnava Aparad or glories of Lord Shiva in the remaining time?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I really liked you speaking about that pastime. I think it's Simhantini Devi, Gauranga, and that deity in Rajpur, where Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra are, and there's that, they have that pastime listed on the side of the altar. I really was always attracted to that pastime. I have a further curious question regarding Parvati in Gaur Leela. I was wondering if there's anything in the CC of the Chaitanya Bhagavat or any bona fide literature that discusses about Mahaprabhu's pastimes, if she actually has a specific like expansion within Gaur Leela, or like also with Lord Shiva. For example, he's protecting Navadvip Dham, kind of like Gopeshwar Mahadev in a sense in Vrindavan. But I was curious if they have, like, does Lord Shiva have like also the ability to enter into Gaura's Mahaprabhu's Rajabhumi Leela, where as like a Brahmin boy or something. I don't know, maybe if there's anything about that. I was curious.
Yes. The only thing I know is this little section I read, and there may be other, I haven't read the entire Navadvip Mahamya. When I was searching for this pastime, I searched for Shiva, and there was a few other references that were shorter, but I didn't search past this place. So there may be more later on. And another time that she appears in the Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is she appears personally to test Haridas Thakur. And he was so determined in chanting the holy name, even though she manifested the most bewildering female poses that could bewilder the mind of Brahma. In Brahma's incarnation of Haridas, he was not bewildered. And there, also the point is made that that if people don't take advantage of this opportunity to get Krishna prema, now that it's so easily available, that it'll be like many, many births delivered. So we're very fortunate to have some connection with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, who was completely dedicated to sharing this message with the whole world. Any other questions or comments?
We see in this Kali Yuga that sometimes for devotees it's the opposite. We join Krishna consciousness and our materialistic family members say we have nothing more to do with him. Right. We write him off. It's like even, they're in high society, my son is a lawyer, my son is a doctor, my son is a senator. What's your son? He died. Got to make up something, you know. There's a wonderful story told by Jagatarini Devi Dasi that she's the wife of Puri John. So Prabhupada had come to Australia, and where she's from originally, and her father and mother came. And the mother was kind of standoffish. She was like, not very much appreciative and keeping aloof in the beginning, but her father was more gentlemanly. And Prabhupada just said, "You have a very wonderful daughter. She will deliver you and your entire family for 7 generations from this material world." And he just kind of like chuckled a little bit, you know, and said, "Well, I always thought she would do something like that." And then over the course of the darshan, her mother became very charmed. And ultimately, Prabhupada took his flower garland off as they were leaving and said, "Give it to her." And she was so much moved that she kept that garland as long as possible and then even maybe preserved it in a jar or container. Completely transformed her life. So,
The purity of Prabhupada's pure association transform the hearts. People meeting.
I have another question. That's okay.
Yeah, there's still 2.5 minutes.
Okay, I'll make it quick. I was just thinking about this idea of how Parvati or Sati, she rejected her father based on him committing offenses to devotees. She went to quite extreme measures to reject him, like even setting herself on fire. And I'm just wondering, is this it's like a very extreme example? And I'm just wondering, the Vaishnava is also supposed to be compassionate. Daksha also is somewhat or another a devotee, although he's struggling a lot. So where does that form of compassion, like is Sati's form of expressing that compassion by chastising him and embarrassing him by lighting herself on fire, or like spontaneously combusting into flames? I was curious on this idea of that embodiment of compassion within what Sati was doing. Maybe you could help me understand.
Well, I don't think, I feel that Sati felt that she couldn't transform him. It's like she couldn't, you you know, bring him to properly, that he was incorrigible, and that she had to do something dramatic to sever that relationship, because he was so covered over that he was so blinded by pride. But of course, one of the things recommended is if you hear Vaishnava aparad to quit your body, but Prabhupada doesn't recommend that. And usually it's said that you should leave that place, or that if you're competent, you should reform the person. But and if you can't defeat their erroneous conceptions and put them in their proper perspective, then you should leave that. Okay? So at least we should always distance ourselves from the Vaishnava Aparad, and we should purify ourselves by chanting the names and the glories of the Lord to purify our mind.
Also, I'm remembering a few verses ago, said that Prabhupada stated in his purport that Sati refrained from acting outwardly against Daksha to protect her husband from the accusation that he employed, to protect Shiva from the accusation that he had employed her to go to the party and act on his behalf, because then that would further give Daksha like strength in his conviction that Shiva was this lower personality. So maybe her compassion was in letting Lord Shiva take matters into his hands.
Thank you for that. I'd forgotten about that. So, it's 9 o'clock, so we can end here. I go to Florida for 3 months on Saturday. It's probably my last class. Thank you for tolerating my presence here. My attempts to speak Vaishnava philosophy. Wish you all success in your devotional endeavors. And may your remembrance of Krishna eternally increase. Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki. Jai.